Welcome back. This morning we're going to be tapping trees. It's about that time. I've got all my supplies here that I need, my tubing, my drill. I need the battery for the drill. I've got a bunch of lids. My buckets, snowshoes, all of the stuff that I'm needing. I'll give you guys a short video of how I do my tree tapping. This year I am going to make myself a map of my trees and how many taps I have on them so that I can keep track of it. Alright, this is one of my biggest trees that I tapped last year. This is a hole from last year. I'm going to want to go probably like 7 inches away from that. That one right there I think is another hole. I think I only had 2 on this one. I'm going to make 3. This was my best tree last year. I'm going to make 3. I've got this drill bit. I put tape around it at about the 2-inch mark. So you only want to drill in like 1.5 to 2 inches into it, and you want to do an upward. You want the drill bit to go in at an upward angle into the tree so that when the sap drains back down at the end of the day, that it will go out the tubes, something I guess to that effect. Packed down, you can't really see that. The snowbanks are as tall as me, so I packed down the snow with my snowshoes. I'm going to try to set you guys up so you can see what I'm doing. I think last year it didn't really show up very well. All right, so this is where I'm going to drill. I'm going to drill at a slight upward. We're going to go up the tree. A slight upward angle. Okay, and we went in almost as far as the tape. So my other hole is right here. And let's see, I don't want to go too close to the other hole that I drilled. I don't really want to go up too high because there is quite a bit of snow. So I'm going to go right here. And I'm going to drill a hole right here. Ooh. Okay. Now to get the spiles and tubing and buckets. Now, this tree is already got some dampness there. So the spile goes in with the non-beveled end. This end here goes into the tree. It just gets tapped in. All right, just taps in just like that. These plastic spiles seem to be okay. They're not terrible. I also just tapped them in. I was wondering if I was even going to be able to get them out last year without problems. They're not in very far, but they should be fine. Maybe it's because I used this tubing last year. It appears as though the tubing has gone on the spiles a little easier. At least that first one did anyway. Okay, so I've got it going around here. And I don't know if you guys can see all the way around there. I've got it hooked in there. All right. Then for these other two taps in the front, I am going to use a T. I bought some T's. So I will hook some hoses together and run them in the front. This is my chart of what I have for trees. I wrote down what trees I have and how many taps I've got on them. The phone died, so I had to charge it while I was... All right, I'm going to bring you guys up to one of my last trees that I tapped. This is an extremely large tree, and I've actually got 2 sets of 3 taps going into this bucket. Nothing's coming out at this point in time. I did see one tree that was leaking out a little bit, but I don't expect much today because it is still pretty cold. I've got a tap behind it and 3 taps going into one hole, and then 3 taps on the other side of the tree going into the other hole. These, well, they're technically 2 trees together. They are very large. I am definitely going to have to replace this one 5-gallon bucket, probably with either 2 5s or a 6, and a 6 and a 5. And at the point in time where the sap actually starts flowing, I'll have to do that. But I've got everything tapped out here, and I counted how many taps I had, but I forget. I'll have to check back in with that. All right, so this is my chart with my trees and how many taps I have on each of them. I've got 22 taps. The whole reason I am doing the chart is so that I can track which trees do good and which trees don't do very good, so that I can keep track, and maybe next year, see, eventually I tap a different tree if a particular tree doesn't do very good. I have heard that it's common for some trees to do good and some trees to not do good. But this is my 2nd year doing maple syrup, so I want to start tracking that and see, if there's any way I can tell, and then like next year, if they still do bad, and then maybe skip them a 3rd year.